Today we bring you a biblical epic. All the action, drama, and pageantry of a monumental showdown. It's the showdown of good versus evil, faith versus doubt, and it all comes down to one simple question. Who really is God? This is the story of Elijah on Mount Carmel. Welcome to the channel. Scene 1 opening. The challenge. In the time of Ahab, king of Israel, there lived a prophet of the Lord named Elijah. And the whole thing kicked off when the king married Jezebel, who just so happened to be the daughter of a false god named Baal. Because of this marriage, Israel began to stray away from worshiping the Lord and instead turned to worshiping Baal. As a result, the prophets of Baal grew in number until there were over 450 of them, all leading the people astray with their lies. Meanwhile, Elijah received word from the Lord that he was to confront the prophets of Baal. So he did. He challenged them to a contest to determine who was the true God. And the place where this challenge was laid down was none other than Mount Carmel. And here is how the scene could look. Imagine a wide shot of Mount Carmel under a blazing sun. The crowd has gathered at the top of the mountain to watch what is about to go down. Prophets of Baal in colorful robes, chanting loudly, trying to intimidate Elijah. In the center of it all, Elijah stands alone, calmly facing the entire group. In the background, wind blowing, faint drums, murmurs of a restless crowd. The narrator begins with a deep, steady voice. On Mount Carmel, a showdown was set. Elijah, the prophet of the Lord, against 450 prophets of Baal. Israel gathered, waiting to see whose God would answer. Elijah steps forward, firm and commanding. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. The crowd responds with a murmur of voices overlapping. Which one is true? Will Baal answer? What will happen? Scene 2. The test proposed. After the challenge was laid down, the prophets of Baal agreed to a test proposed by Elijah. They were to build 2 stone altars, one for Baal and one for the Lord. Wood was stacked and oxen cut. The whole crowd looked on intently as everything was prepared, and here is how the scene could look. Imagine 2 stone altars being built side by side, ready for the ultimate showdown. Close up on Elijah's serious face as he watches the preparations unfold. In the background, the sounds of an axe chopping, rocks clattering, and a torch crackling as it comes close to igniting the wood. Elijah speaks confidently. Bring 2 bulls. Let Baal's prophets choose one. Cut it in pieces and lay it on the wood butt. Put no fire to it. I will do the same. Then you call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord. The God who answers by fire, he is God. The crowd reacts with excitement and shouts, "Well spoken." Yes, let it be done. Scene 3. The prophets of Baal cry out. The prophets of Baal went first, dancing wildly around the altar. their voices echoing across the mountain. They leaped, they shouted, they fell to their knees, and they begged their God to answer the challenge. And here is how the scene could look. Imagine the prophets of Baal jumping and spinning around the altar, waving their arms in the air. Close-ups of desperate faces, contorted in a mixture of fear and determination. The narrator says, from morning till noon, they called out to Baal. But there was no voice, no answer, no fire. Elisha chimes in with a mocking tone, raising his voice above the rest. Cry louder, for he is a god, isn't he? Perhaps he is deep in thought, or busy, or on a journey. Maybe he sleeps and must be awakened. The prophets begin to shout even louder, wailing, O Baal, hear us, O Baal. They slash themselves with knives, and blood drips onto the altar as they cry out to their God. The narrator continues, they raved until evening sacrifice, but still there was no voice. No one answered. Scene 4. Elijah prepares the Lord's altar. Now it was Elijah's turn. After repairing the broken altar of the Lord with 12 stones, each representing one of the 12 tribes of Israel, he dug a trench around the altar. He arranged the wood and laid the bull. Here is how the scene could look. Imagine Elijah carefully arranging the altar with the 12 stones. He uses a hoe to dig a trench, and then uses a knife to cut the bull. Finally, he places the bull on the wood. In the background, stones scrape against each other, and water splashes as Elijah directs the people. Elijah commands the people, fill 4 jars with water, and pour it on the burnt offering and on the wood. A confused whisper ripples through the crowd. Water! Why water? Has he lost his mind? The camera focuses on Elisha as he dips a cup into the water and pours it onto the altar. People obey, pouring water once, twice, 3 times until the trench overflows. The narrator speaks in a calm, reverent tone. Elijah soaked the altar until water ran down, filling the trench. No spark, no chance of fire, unless God himself intervened. Scene 5. Elijah's prayer. With the altar drenched and the people confused, Elijah falls to his knees before the altar. He raises his hands toward the heavens and cries out to the Lord. And here is how the scene could look. Imagine Elijah kneeling before the altar with his hands raised. The camera slowly moves upward, revealing a bright, cloudy sky above him. In the background, the wind suddenly stops. All is silent except for Elijah's prayer and the sound of his own heartbeat. Elijah prays, O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant. Answer me, O Lord, that these people may know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you have turned their hearts back again. Scene 6. Fire from heaven. As Elijah finishes his prayer, the sky splits open. A blazing bolt of fire descends from heaven, consuming everything in its path. The wood, the stones, the sacrifice, the water, all vanish instantly. Here is how the scene could look. Imagine the altar engulfed in a massive blaze of fire. The wood and sacrifice are consumed instantly, along with the water in the trench. In the background, thunder cracks, roaring flames, and the crowd gasping and screaming. The narrator speaks with a powerful, awestruck voice. Then the fire of the Lord fell. It consumed the offering, the wood, the stones, the dust, and licked up the water in the trench. The crowd responds, shouting, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." Scene 7. The aftermath. In the end, there was nothing left but smoldering ashes and a damp pile of dirt where the altar had stood. The people fell to their faces before the Lord, acknowledging His power. The prophets of Baal were defeated and terrified. Here is how the scene could look. Imagine the crowd bowing low before the Lord. In the distance, the prophets of Baal huddled together, afraid and ashamed. Elijah stands tall with a fiery glow behind him, victorious and resolute. The narrator closes with a solemn voice. On Mount Carmel, God's power was revealed. False gods were silenced, and the people of Israel remembered who was truly Lord. Music swells, starting triumphant and orchestral, then fading into solemn strings as text fades onto the screen. The Lord, He is God. 1 Kings 18. So there you have it, friends. The amazing story of Elijah on Mount Carmel, where God showed His power and proved once and for all that He alone is Lord. Well, that's it for today. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. If you enjoyed this retelling, don't forget to like and share for more animated Bible stories.